Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome in on a Friday morning. What a night for Puka Nacua. Man, I'm sure he irritated some referees, but that guy's awesome. Over 200 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, and the Seahawks used the craziest two-point conversion ever to get into overtime and beat the Rams and take the lead in the NFC West and take the lead in the race for the number 1 seed in the entire NFC. Phenomenal game. Great overtime win for the Seahawks. We'll get more into that and what is trending. Your Utah Jazz led the Lakers for 3 quarters, and the Lakers went on a big run in the fourth quarter, and they go on to win the game. Keyonte George had another big night shooting the ball with Lowry Markkanen out, and Austin Reeves was also out for the Lakers. And the Lakers get the win with a really strong fourth quarter. Let's get to the best of the postgame show.
Your Jazz recap here on DJ and PK 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott with you. The Jazz came up short against the Lakers last night, 143-135. Luka Doncic with a triple-double last night at Delta Center. 45 points, 14 assists, and 11 rebounds for the Lakers in the win. The Jazz got a big night from Keyonte George, 34 points and 8 assists. Let's get to the postgame sound of Jazz head coach Will Hardy.
I thought it was a great game. I think I'm really proud of the team, how they play together. I think offensively, we've shown that we're really hard to guard. It was a weird night when you score 135 points, but you miss 16 free throws and probably 9 layups. But I think the togetherness, the connectedness of the team on the offensive side is tremendous. Defensively, everybody has to continue to raise their level of urgency on the weak side. The Lakers are a really tough team to guard. They've got some special players, and their size hurt us at different moments. But, I think we don't have one person on our team who's going to put out all the fires defensively. Everybody has to take turns. And I think, our weak side defense is continuing to improve. Tonight we just had some stretches where it wasn't good enough. I think in the first half we were a little bit lazy with our hands at the point of attack. Too many reaching fouls from secondary defenders. But I thought it was a heck of a game. I'm proud of the team's effort.
Obviously, it's a group effort to try and defend someone like Luka.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're going to stop him from scoring. What more could you do, or would you want if you could redo that one with him specifically?
Yeah, I think we didn't do a good job with our secondary defenders. He does a great job of getting you on his hip. I'm not sure how many fouls they called on us because of body contact. It was a lot of hands being caught in. I think we just were probably half of a defensive slide away from where we needed to be in a bunch of those ISOs. And when he gets to shoot 16 free throws and gets kind of those plays where he's in the paint in the first half, the big three he makes late feels devastating, but he's 4 for 12 from 3 on the game. He's an incredible player, but it's all those little things add up, and then the special moment happens, and it's too far gone.
What did you like from Isaiah tonight?
It's one of Zay's best games that I've seen him play. I think he's continuing to apply pressure on the paint for our team. He's doing such a good job of playing off 2 feet. He's delivering the bump on the ground, which I think gives him the opportunity at his size to still finish at the rim. But he's making a lot of really good decisions for us. Zay works really hard, and I think he's continuing to find his way of how his skill set fits with our team. And if he keeps putting pressure on the paint and playing off 2 feet, he's going to help us every night. His tempo and transition, the way he can push the pace is great. The other part that doesn't get talked about, I don't think, is that when he's on the court with Keyonte, it allows Keyonte to get off the ball for a few minutes. It's a different look for Key. Key naturally has been a 2 guard for the majority of his life. but it's exhausting to bring the ball up against pressure over and over and over again. So I think that part, Zay's helping Key a lot when they're on the court together because it takes some of the ball handling duties away for a few minutes.
And sticking on that topic too, late in the fourth quarter, or midway fourth quarter, I saw Isaiah, Walt, and Key out there. What did you like about having all three of them out there for kind of those reasons?
Yeah, you know, they were changing the matchups a little bit. You know, I thought Walt and his shooting was going to be something that was going to help us. You know, Ace needed a blow, needed to rest a little bit. So in that moment, having three guys who could dribble felt like it was something that could help us. It's not a look that we've seen a ton of, and so, you know, I wish I could sit here and say I knew perfectly how it was going to work or not work, but there's still a lot to explore and learn with our team.
With Key, so much of his success this year has been off of Lowry actions, and tonight he has a 34-point game kind of without Lowry, and just kind of wondering what you think that shows about how he's grown as a player and what he's capable of doing with himself.
Yeah, I think it's time that everybody stops trying to give reasons why Keyonte is playing well. Oh, well, he's only playing well because Lowry helps him so much, and oh, he's only playing well because of this, and oh, like, no, he's pretty good. And I think it's time that everybody gives him some respect. He's worked hard, and the way he carries himself, the way he works every day, the way he takes coaching, the way he interacts with his teammates, the way he's helping Ace. You know, I think, believe me, there's nobody who's going to be harder on Key than me, but he's pretty freaking good. And to do it tonight against that team when Lowry's not on the court, I do think speaks volumes to the level that he's at right now. You know, to do it efficiently at that is, I think, again, it just speaks to the work that Keyonte puts in. You know, we talk about the summer a lot, but the work that he continues to put in, like to mentally prepare, to physically prepare every night to play in this league is hard. And so maybe it's time that there's not reasons that Keyonte's playing well, other than Keyonte's gotten pretty good.
How are you seeing his approach rub off on his teammates?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a young team, but they're serious about it. Like, they want to be really good. I think Keyonte impacts that because he adds to it. I don't want to sit here and say that Keyonte is the reason that the other guys are taking it seriously or working hard. You know, if anything, when we get to the off season, Keyonte is somebody that you can use as an example of, like, this is what can happen in a summer. If you really put your head down and do the work for 3-4 months, like, you can really improve your body. You can really improve as a player. But Keyonte, the way that he works and carries himself rubs off on a lot of our team. But I do think we have a group of young players that are really hungry to get better. I've never questioned their desire or their work ethic.
That's Jazz head coach Will Hardy. Let's now move on to the players and hear from Isaiah Collier.
Make free throws, missed 16 tonight, so yeah.
On the defensive end of the floor, obviously Luke is a tough cover, but just how can you kind of limit what he and they do well?
I mean, we know Luka's gonna hit tough shots. He is who he is for a reason. So I mean, it's trying to, you know, do what we can do to make, you know, like you said, tough coverages. He got hot tonight for, you know, a good minute for sure. So I mean, we just gotta be better on the defense end, honestly. So yeah.
On the paint touches, you know, obviously there's something you were very good at last year as well, but it seems like even in half court settings you can get downhill kind of when you want to this year. Like, is that, do you feel like you're better able to read the defender, or kind of what's been able to lead to some success there?
Reading the defender. Watched a lot of film this summer. Watching a lot of film now. So I mean, seeing how teams are playing me, honestly, I feel like everybody's pretty much playing me as a driver. So I mean, I think I have, you know, advantages, you know, to still beat them on the drive. So I mean, little things like that, and then making them right read. So yeah.
From your perspective, what has allowed Keyonte to kind of take these next steps as a player?
I mean, I think everybody sees the work he put in. I mean, he's a great leader, you know, for us as a team. So, I mean, the work, that he's put in, this off season, we all seen it, see the work he's still putting in now. So, I mean, it's contagious for sure.
For those of us that don't see it, what is different about the way that he worked this summer, the way that he continues to?
He pushed all of us, honestly. That was the biggest thing, as far as just most of the young guys being here this summer. We got after it. And he was most likely, first in everything, honestly. So, I mean, pushed all of us, and I feel like, it's showing on the court for him. I think it's showing on the court for everybody, honestly. I think, we all had a great summer. So, I mean, it's slowly progress. So, yeah.
No marketing tonight. How did you feel like you and the rest of the team responded to fill that void?
I mean, I think the main thing is just going out there to compete, honestly. I mean, we know Larry's a big piece, but, you have to take advantage of your opportunity, honestly. So, I mean, just going out there, competing, playing hard as we can. You're going to make mistakes, but, just staying with yourself. So, yeah.
How much is it in your mind when you're trying to get those paint touches and using it to your advantage that one of the bigger advantages that you have is your speed?
I mean, I feel like paint touches create shots. I think that's for every team in the league, honestly. So, I mean, paint threat is very important. That creates shots, and that's what I try to do.
The Jazz lose to the Lakers 143-135. Up next, the Jazz will take on the Magic at Delta Center coming up tomorrow night. The game will tip off at 7:30. Pregame begins at 6:30. Coming up next, more DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
There is the best of the postgame show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Ken Pomeroy, KenPom.com, his thoughts on the NCAA tournament, early look at power leagues and how they're performing in the non-conference. Where would BYU stack up potentially as a seed in the NCAA tournament? There's so much to get to. We'll talk with Ken Pomeroy. And then we'll hear from Kyle Whittingham, his first interview since he steps down as Utah's head coach. Stay with us. Ken Pomeroy next. DJ PK, and we're joined once again by Ken Pomeroy, college basketball guru of KenPom.com. Ken, good morning.
Good morning.
Let's start with the big headline. BYU looks really good. They've played a half dozen games against power conference teams, and they're going to play a Big 12 schedule with a bunch of ranked teams there. They play three of them twice. They're going to get Texas Tech twice, Arizona twice, and Utah twice. Tech and Arizona are both ranked. Where are you thinking the Cougars are going to be seated if you try to look ahead a couple of months here?
Oh, I mean, the sky is almost the limit for that. I don't think a one seed is necessarily unrealistic, but it's unlikely. There's some really good teams at the top of college basketball this year. But after that, I mean, you could see them getting a 2 seed without any question. 2 or a 3, probably a 2. I'd almost bet on a 2 at this point. They've had the only scary thing is that sometimes they just don't show up for the first half, and saw that against UConn and against Clemson and against Delaware. Actually, it was another example where they just did not show up for the first half. There's a type of team. I'm just going to throw this out there. I was thinking about this the other day. There have been teams in the past where they have like a star that they can go to at the end of the game, and they're really confident that if it's a close game, they're going to get points from this person, either scoring or at the free throw line. And obviously BYU kind of fits that mold with Devonsa. The last thing I remember like this is like Blake Griffin, Oklahoma, where they didn't have a lot of depth. It was mostly a one-man team, and they rose to number 1 in the polls, and they were never really like that high in any sort of power ranking because they did take some possessions off, I think subconsciously knowing that the game was almost in the bag at the end of the game. And BYU's not quite on that level yet, but I'm curious to see how they navigate the Big 12 schedule if this happens. If they, even against weaker teams, they don't necessarily put them away because they know that, 2 minutes left, they can give the ball to AJ and, he can make things happen. It's going to be fun times in Provo, I think, over the next 2 to 3 months.
Conference season is pretty much over, or non-conference, I should say. as far as that goes. I mean, I realize that they still have a couple more games and all, but the point I'm making, have you been able to, with some form of good legitimacy, create ranking in terms of conferences and who's better and who's that and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about legitimacy, DK. And,
you should be. I've been trying to push that on you for as long as I've known you.
Been working on that, and we have legitimate conference rankings. And I guess the story this year is that, last year the story was the SEC was sort of this dominant league that, historically dominant, almost all their teams getting into the tournament, 14 out of 16 getting into the tournament, and then, having reasonable success in the NCAA tournament as well. It was really one of the best leagues of modern history. The SEC, I still have it rated as the top league, but it's significantly weaker than it has been. And mostly the reason it's the top league is that the bottom is good, which is probably not a reason that, most people want to rate leagues. Like when it comes to getting tournament bids, it's kind of TBD as to which league's going to get the most. You got the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12. I mean, they're all pretty similar in terms of overall strength. The SEC's bottom is stronger. The top is not nearly as strong as it was last year. Like there's, Vanderbilt is the highest rated team in the league right now. I believe the highest ranked team in the AP poll as well, for those who believe in that sort of stuff. And they're a legitimate team, but like they're not, on the level of Florida or Auburn last year, or even Alabama. It's just a little bit down at the top of the league. And then you got the Big Ten and the Big 12 have better teams at the top. The bottom is also lower for both of those leagues, but all three of those leagues are, basically within the margin of error of each other. And if people care about which league is the best league, it's going to come down to, I'm sure, for popular opinion, which teams or which leagues get the most teams in the tournament, and then how those teams fare in the tournament. And for some people, the best league is simply determined by who wins the title game. And for those people, maybe it'll be one of those three leagues, or maybe it'll be, maybe it'll be Duke. It's usually the ACC people that like to go that route. And if Duke or Carolina or somebody else, Louisville, wins the title, they'll claim that the ACC was the best league. And hey, I'm not going to put up much of a fight about that.
We have to watch so much football, and we probably have at least 7, but really 8, 9. Yeah, with Weber State football, maybe we're about to have 10 teams we got to track. So watching a lot of out-of-state college basketball, I'm just not going to have time to do a lot of that. But I did read and saw a couple scores, and I did read Michigan is awesome. Even among the awesome teams, they're awesome. And when I looked at KenPom.com to confirm that, I was like, whoa, net rating, they're like 4.5 points in front of everybody else. Do you view Michigan as a powerhouse and everyone in college basketball is chasing them? Because right now, looking at your rankings, I think you're about to say yes.
I think the best way to put it is that Michigan's peak has been better than anybody else's. I mean, Michigan's peak has been amazing. The bizarre thing about Michigan is that, the second game of the year, they play a Wake Forest team that, probably not going to be in the tournament and really should have lost that game. There was a late comeback. They went to overtime. They won the game. But that was a pretty ugly performance. They struggled badly with TCU in the very next game, another team that, probably won't make the tournament. And since then, they have just been, wrecking teams. I mean, they went to the Players Era Festival. That's where it really, opened people's eyes, and they just annihilated San Diego State, annihilated Auburn, annihilated Gonzaga. And since then, the reputation has been born that, this team is really, really good. I mean, they'll get their test in Big Ten play. And they actually, are coming off a game against Maryland where the score was lopsided, but they were only ahead by 3 with 10 minutes left. And Maryland's another team not going to make the tournament or really come close. So that's the way I'd put it. At Michigan's peak, I mean, you beat Gonzaga by 40 in any year. It's a big deal. I believe it was the worst loss in Mark Stew's career. So in any year, that's a big deal. But if you also look at my ratings, there's Gonzaga's, I believe, still number 2 today. So that was a pretty crazy one. So yeah, Michigan at its best, I think, is better than anybody else. They're not, this is not, 1991 UNLV or something like that. I mean, it's there's other, very good teams out there that have also had very impressive wins, like Iowa State, winning by 20 plus at Purdue, and Arizona's been rolling. Duke very young, but seem to have all the pieces to make another push for a Final Four or a national title. So there are other teams out there, but yeah, I would say like Michigan right now, rightfully the favorite to win the title.
Based on your rankings, do you take more crap in the non-conference or during the conference?
Man, I do take a lot of crap in the non-conference.
That's what I thought. Sure. Yeah, and I always enjoy it each time you do, by the way.
I enjoy it too, actually. A nice, fun ritual for me is just, there's plenty of crap out there. So on social media, and I just when the crap comes in, I just bookmark the crap, and we'll check back in at the end of the season. There was a guy who made a social media account just to not very politely tell me, that I was crazy about his team, and his team was Georgetown, which Georgetown might make this year, but they got a lot of work to do. Like they just got taken to overtime by St. Peter's, but he was irate that they were getting like a few votes in the AP poll, and I had them ranked like 83rd or something. And so irate that he created a social media account solely to let me know this. And so I'm being patient, but at the end of the year, I'm petty enough where I might post a screenshot
and go back at it. Yeah,
that was going to be my follow-up. Do you bookmark these just so you can look back with satisfaction and think, yeah, he's wrong, I'm right. He's wrong, I'm right. Or do you literally tweet, how do you like me now?
It's mostly for the purposes of like a year-end, post on Substack to, just recap all of the bad opinions about my ratings. That's mostly the purpose, which I was too lazy to do last year because the ratings actually performed really well last year, and there weren't I think people just gave up and gave me some credit. But the year before, I think there were quite a few, and I just had them all bookmarked, and it's great content at the end of the year.
Sure, why not? That's part of the fun. Kentucky with Mark Pope, man, he's been under the microscope. What do you think?
I think it's a fascinating situation. I mean, these are I love these kind of storylines in college basketball where obviously the expectations greatly exceeded reality there, and Kentucky fans are impatient. I mean, last year they were you get 1 year of quasi patience, and
right.
I think Kentucky pretty much overachieved last year, but obviously the expectations were so low that they weren't really a serious Final Four national title threat.
Right.
And that's kind of it in modern times. You get 1 year, and then if you're in Kentucky and you are not threatening to go to a Final Four, there will be immediate heat on you. And there's I don't know about rightfully, but there's immediate heat on Mark Pope in Kentucky right now because they obviously have struggled. And it's just not that they've lost to good teams. They've generally not been competitive, getting run off the floor by Gonzaga and Michigan State, and losing to Louisville. I mean, that game was more competitive. It was a road game. You kind of understand that. Louisville's pretty good this year, but you just don't, there's no star power on that team. You just don't see the path to, them meeting kind of the expectation of being a top 10 team this year. I think I would be surprised if they didn't make the tournament. I think they're good enough to make the tournament and even be a 6, 7, 8 seed, somewhere in there. But it's a serious struggle for them, and obviously got the big game this weekend against St. John's, which every game for them just seems so critical. like the Indiana game, they could just come off winning that, and everything seems like, it's okay. Like, you just look at the final score, and they, pulled away late, as they probably should, but they were trailing like 8 or 9 at halftime. I mean, it was scary stuff. They lose that game. I mean, it's rough, and obviously the crowd is not supportive. I mean, it's an interesting situation there. I don't know what his future looks like if they end up getting, say an 8 seed or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I assume he'd be back, but there would be questions.
Yeah, they should have hired Kevin Young.
I mean, yeah, you look. That's the whole thing, though. Like, if they do let him go, I mean, you remember the coaching search? It didn't go very smoothly. That was part of the reason that they ended up with Mark Pope, is that he wasn't their first choice, and obviously without the Kentucky ties, he wouldn't have been one of their top 5 choices. But
right.
That's the thing. If you let him go, it's like you have to go through this whole coaching search again. And
it reminds me of what Penn State had done in football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
you fired James Franklin. Now what?
Yeah, not only that, but you have all. In that case, you have the entire season to do the coaching search, and it's still a struggle. So
right.
That's the thing in basketball. Like, you can't, you don't have. If you're going to make the decision, you better have a very good idea of who you're going to pursue, and whether those people are interested in taking your job. And we saw that actually a lot last year in the tournament, where guys were essentially coaching their teams that had already made deals to coach other teams, this season, just weren't public about it. But that's just the way it's got to be, because the recruiting cycle is just instantaneous now in the sport.
I'm curious, when you're taking all this heat in November and December, the transfer portal is so wild now. Teams are completely remaking themselves. We just had Jared Calhoun on, 5 returning guys, 5 freshmen, 5 transfers. One of the transfers, Colby King, is playing at his 4th school in 4 years. Shouldn't there be some expectation both from you and from the audience? Like, hey, it's going to take a while to figure this out. Just don't take anything seriously 2, 4, 6 games into the season. It's too early.
I mean, that is that's what I would preach to people. I think in general, if your team gets off to a hot start in the first 4 games, and you're not rated well in my ratings or whatever, it's just like, that's just the way it works. Like, you're going to, that fan base is going to be extremely impatient and demand that they be respected by all parties. But that is the fun of college basketball, is that you can, first of all, in this era, obviously you can surprise people, but also you can fake it for like 6 or 8 games. Like, you can look like a pretty good team for 6 or 8 games and actually not be that good of a team, or vice versa. I mean, you go back and look at previous seasons, and teams get off the slow starts, and then they figure it out. I mean, Houston was a team like that last year. I mean, people, I don't know how familiar they are with Houston necessarily. I'm sure they're familiar with the fact that they were in the national title game, and they didn't lose a game on the road in the Big 12 last year, which is outrageous. But early in the season, they lose a game to San Diego State, and they tumble down the AP poll, and people kind of wonder, are they just, are they going to crumble in Big 12 play? We finally have this moment where Houston, obviously in a Big 12 expansion team, is not ready for the moment, although the previous year they were very good. But and then they end up being great. And so, the premise of your question suggests, I guess, that people look at this rationally early in the season, and that's not really what fans do. And I don't expect them to. And I'm all good with it, guys.
With the situation now of players coming in as freshmen, and they have a lot of hype when they come in. Last year we did it, and we've already established like the top 3 guys, and it seems like for the NBA draft, and the top 3 this year, and we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, DeBonsa, Peterson for Kansas has had the injury, hadn't been on the floor that much, and then you got Carlos' son Cam Boozer, and so already. And I've seen all these guys play because they were on ESPN before they even get to this level. And obviously I've seen DeBonsa play in person several times already. Boozer now, I'm intrigued by him because the guy's a double-double machine here in college so far through the non-conference. And now you're starting to see knocks on him. Oh, well, he can't do this. He's undersized, blah, 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 whatever it might be. What do you think of him?
Yeah, I love him. I mean, I love the type of player who's not overly athletic. I mean, kind of a below the rim big, but
right. That's the number one knock against him.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, those kind of things do matter when you end up playing in the best basketball league in the world. But he's just so phenomenally skilled, and he's not like slow or anything. Like I think his feet are like reasonably quick. His reaction time is really good. So, he makes up for some of those. He makes up for the below the rim stuff in some ways. Like that, obviously, that will be the question. When teams when these guys go through the draft process, is, for number one, you see certainly the athleticism from DeBonsa and what he can do,
right.
And to a lesser extent, Darren Peterson. I mean, Peterson just looks so smooth out there, even though, as you mentioned, he has had the injury. But when he's been on the floor, even at 75%, he still looks really good. So all those things come into play. But yeah, certainly with Cam, it's a question of the athleticism. But the production is outrageous, and the production against good teams has been pretty good. Like, yeah, he will go 5-7 minutes without necessarily making an impact on the game. But like, I don't care who you're talking about at this level. Like that happens. We could find those stretches for AJ DeBonsa as well. The people are maybe being a little overly critical on Cam just simply because of the lack of athleticism necessarily. But overall, like at the end of the day, you look at his production even against great teams, and it's been worthy of the hype of potentially being the number one pick.
Well, the skill matters a lot, and he's got it. And honestly, just it reminds me so much of watching his dad, because his dad was highly skilled, and his dad was undersized and didn't have great lift, and it really didn't limit what the Jazz could do until they ran into a team like the Lakers, who they lost to 3 times in 4 years, and the Lakers had 3 7-footers across the front line. And so the skill can overcome a little bit of that lack of explosiveness and a little bit of that lack of size, but when you put 3 guys out on the court, there are going to be limitations, and that goes back to your point about, well, it's the best league in the world, and when you run into the best teams in the best leagues, there can be a bit of a ceiling there.
Yeah, and what's interesting? Like Carlos, my recollection is he was one of the first guys who, his analytics started becoming a thing relative to the draft. Like he was one of the first guys who, like the nerds in the on the dark web at that time, were like, why is this guy not profiled higher in the draft? Why is he not like a lottery pick, really? Mm-hmm. Because, the same knock, like he wasn't athletic, but he was just supremely productive back in an ACC that was, easily the best league in the country, playing its top 10 teams all the time. It's like, obviously, yeah, this guy he doesn't meet the athletic profile of an NBA player, but production-wise, against really good competition, he's outstanding, obviously very skilled, and ultimately that was a win for the nerds on the dark web.
All right, well, we'll leave it right there, Ken. We appreciate it, as always. Thanks for a little December college basketball talk.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. We'll talk to you again. Ken Pomeroy. You can follow him, kenpom.com, for everything you want to know about college basketball and your team and your conference and where they fit in the bigger world. And he'll keep getting that dialed in as they play more games. That's Ken Pomeroy from kenpom.com. When we come back, the Utes meet with the media in advance of their bowl game. Lander Barton, Devin Dampier, and Kyle Whittingham's first public comments since he stepped aside as the Utes head coach. That's all coming up next. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Well, the Utes are preparing for their bowl game, and they are headed to beautiful Las Vegas. And it turns out there are not going to be a lot of guys opting out. A few. Kyle Whittingham gets into that, his first public comment since he stepped down as a head coach. But first, we're going to start with a guy who got the interception, the exclamation point on his final game at Rice-Eccles Stadium with the interception against Kansas State. Here's the Utes' Lander Barton.
I wonder what's these last couple weeks been like for this team, for you, and everything.
It's been a fun last couple weeks. I mean, a lot of changes going on in my life coming up in January, but I mean, it's just a blessing to be here every day with the guys and just make every day as great as possible.
What kind of difference did Kyle Whittingham make on your football career?
Man, it's hard to even put into words. I mean, me and my two brothers all playing for him, so I mean, it's been an honor to have him as a head coach. And I mean, I'm happy for him and where he is in life now, and it was great playing for him.
I know that you're not going to be here, but you work so closely with Morgan Scalley. What kind of hands is this program in?
I mean, I think there's going to be no change, really. It's just going to continue right on. And I mean, Coach Scalley's a great coach. So, I mean, I'm excited for him. And so it's just awesome for him.
We saw the emotions from Kyle after the final home game with the win when he talked about the seniors. What would a win in this final game mean for you guys?
I mean, you always want to go out with a win. I think, like, as a player, I want to go out with a win. As a coach, I'd want to go out. So, I mean, we're just going to try to play our asses off and get one more for him.
Do you consider opting out for this game?
No.
How do you weigh those decisions, knowing that, like, you obviously are a competitive guy, you want to be in that. How do you personally weigh that?
I mean, there's definitely conversations that you have to have with agents and then people that are kind of around you in your circle. But, I mean, it's just ultimately it's up to each player whether or not they want to play.
What does January look like for you?
Start training, just getting ready.
Were you surprised or shocked when Kyle made the announcement, or did you kind of have a feeling this was coming? Especially after the year you had.
I'm not. Everyone can speculate. Everyone had their own ideas. But, I mean, I wasn't worried about it because I knew for at least one more game he's going to be my head coach. So, I mean, I didn't speculate too much on it.
Yeah, what does that mean to you that he is going to coach one last time?
I mean, it's awesome. It's going to be a hell of a game.
When you look back on your career, what do you think about your time here at Utah? I know it's probably a lot to think about, but
yeah, I mean, I loved my entire time here. I mean, it was just a great experience from beginning to end. So, I mean, just want to finish it off right.
Your thoughts on Nebraska, looking at their offense and what's going to take to slow them down?
I mean, it's a good team, and they're going to come in here and run the ball or go down to Vegas, run the ball. So, I mean, they got good players. I know they got some guys out, injuries and stuff like that, but it'll be a good game.
If you do win, not a bad place to celebrate New Year's Eve.
Exactly.
All right, there is Lander Barton. Now here's the quarterback, Devin Dampier.
How's bowl prep going?
Man, it's been fun. Obviously, we're proud of what we did, but man, we got one more. It's been a minute since we won a bowl game, so we're practicing for this win for sure.
What was your reaction when you heard Kyle was stepping down?
Man, that's a legend. I got a lot of respect for him. I think he's transformed this program. He's made it perfect for Scalley to step in, and I'm excited to still be a U.
What are your thoughts on Scalley taking over?
Man, I'm very confident in Scalley. When I came here on my visit, that was someone I talked to, and he let me know the rundown when his time comes. He had his full beliefs in me and in my talent, so I'm perfectly fine where I'm at.
Devin, there's obviously this time of the year a lot of guys will opt out, whether it be an NFL draft or other reasons. Is this one of those games where you considering still playing, or how does that work with kind of the health that you've had and some of that stuff?
Yeah, I chose to finish out this season with my team. I'm going to play it in the game, but some people it's a lot higher stakes. Got a couple of first rounders and things like that. So we know those guys love us. They let it be known every day since they've been here. So we still support those guys. They support us.
Have you officially decided to come back for next year, or are you still kind of mulling it over?
I keep getting this. Y'all gonna see. But it's good. It's great. I'm very happy to be here. Seriously. Yep.
What about you? And Bird already officially announced that.
Yeah.
You guys, if you're both back, what would that mean to this team?
Man, it's going to mean a lot. We're trying to do something special, but his got a little leaked out before we could get to it. But it's coming.
How important is it for you guys to, you talked about not winning a bowl game in a while, but how important is it to, also send Kyle out on a win?
It means a lot to me. Again, I could try to speak for everybody on the team, but me especially, just that's a coach that believed in me to come in here after being at New Mexico, and just had full trust in me in the offense to do what we do, and that's just huge respect from him, and just what he's done for this program. This is one of the only programs in college football where you know what youths do, how they play, and the mentality. So for him to leave that up, I got to finish well for him.
New Year's Eve in Las Vegas, going out with a win, would that just be the perfect way to end the year?
Yeah, no doubt. I got a lot of family coming out. I'm telling them when we handle my game first, and then we'll talk about everything after that. But very exciting place to be at to play, one last game with my team.
What's this time been like for you as players? Is it still business as usual on the field?
No doubt. We're definitely having fun with it. We've got a couple of days before the game truly gets close. But, business is business when we step in this facility. We know it's work, but a lot of smiles going around. A lot of people are happy.
You mentioned a little bit earlier about the transition from Kyle to Scally. That doesn't happen a lot, but do you think that leaves the program in a better spot than if they brought in a new coaching staff?
Most definitely. I think, especially like I said, just what's already set here, what's known here. Scally's been under Whit. I think Whit's done a great job of allowing him to demonstrate what a good head coach looks like, and I know Scally's going to step into it and do what he does. So.
There's Utah quarterback Devin Dampier, now the guy everybody's been waiting to hear from. Here is Kyle Whittingham, his first public comments as he steps down as the head coach.
Well, what's it been like since you made your announcement for you?
Oh, business as usual. We're just going through the paces of getting ready for the ball game. And players have got a great attitude. What have we had, 5 practices now? Every one of them has been really good. So just got to keep going with another one tomorrow, another one Monday, get the time off for Christmas, fly them down to the bowl site and get going again.
Kyle, for you, what was the reason to kind of ultimately do it at this point?
Well, the program's in a good place right now. As I've said many times, after last season, just didn't sit right with anybody, particularly me, and so came back and fortunately we were able to get the ship righted and everything's on track. Program, like I said, is in a good spot. Got good coaches. Coach Scally will come in and do a great job. Got good players. So now is the time.
Is coaching out of your system?
I don't know if it's ever out of your system. I mean, it's in your blood, and so I don't know about that. Not that being said, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but it's when you got the coaching in your blood, it just doesn't go away.
So to clarify, is this not a retirement?
Well, who knows? We'll see. It's stepping down and step away and reevaluate things and see where we're at.
I guess, what does that process look like for you if you want to decide whether to pursue opportunities or move into your role at the U?
What's the process look like?
Yeah.
If my phone rings, I answer it. If I like who's calling, then we'll see. Yeah, that's pretty much the process.
You've been under contract for a long time in your adult life. This is the first time you're kind of a free agent.
I'm a free agent. I'm in the transfer portal. So yeah, it's a different feel, but like I said, I'm at peace, and I did not want to be that guy that overstayed his welcome and people just saying, hey, when's this guy going to leave? That was not my intention ever, and I hope I didn't do that. I'm sure with some people I did do that, but the time, to me, the timing is right.
So you never felt that from anybody?
Well, let's talk about our guys. Let's talk about our players. The time is right for me. I just felt like that's my best answer.
Yeah. What did it mean for you to coach one last game? When Urban stepped down, you guys were co-head coaches, but you wanted one last game with this team.
Well, this team has been one of my favorite years. The team attitude, the leadership, the work ethic, just the personality and the feel, the vibe of the team is outstanding, and having the chance to be around these guys one more month and go to battle one more time with them was something I wanted to do.
Do you have a number of guys? Do you have a number on how many opt-outs you'll have for this bowl game?
Well, right now it's just 3, our 2 tackles and Logan Farnham. And so I would assume, you never know for sure, but I assume that we're in place now, and going forward, those will be there. We've had some other, a few walk-ons, scout team players that have decided to move on and are not with us. We've also got a handful of guys that are going to go in the portal that are still practicing with us. So as far as not playing in the game, I think that what we have right now is what we'll go into the game with. I hope so.
Looking at Nebraska, what stands out about them?
Big Ten team. I mean, they're a typical Big Ten team. Got some really good athletes in certain spots, and just exactly what you'd expect from a Nebraska football team. They're physical. Traditionally they're very physical and old school and smash mouth, and that's what we expect.
You're right here, Kyle. If part of you still wanted to coach and be kind of competitive in football, why not do it at Utah?
Well, like I said, I don't want to overstay my welcome. Somebody once told me that every year that goes by you're a coach, 10% of the fan base starts to hate you. And so after 20 years, they all, plus their kids and grandkids, probably hate me. So anyway, but it was a good run. It was a good run. And I'll say it one more time. I didn't want to be that hanger-oner that just kept, people just got sick of.
Who would have gotten sick of you, Kyle?
You, for one.
I mean, seriously.
I don't know. But I just feel that, I didn't want to just be that guy. I don't know how else to put it.
You said the program is in great hands. You said the program is going to be in great hands. What is it about Morgan Scalley that's going to make a great head coach?
Well, he's organized. He's really good with X's and O's. He's really good at connecting with players. His culture ideas, my culture ideas align perfectly. We both have a lot of the same recruiting strategies and thoughts, evaluation-wise, how you navigate the portal, all that stuff. It's very consistent, and I think that there's going to be far more similarities than change. Now, he'll put his own stamp on the program, make no mistake. But way back when I took over for Urban, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We hung on to a lot of the stuff that Urban did here. But Coach has been here a lot of years. He's a Utah man through and through, and so I think it's going to be a good situation.
How much has the time off helped guys that have nagging injuries and stuff as you guys enter this bowl game?
That's been big, and I'm sure it's been the same for Nebraska. I know they got some guys that were beat up, and so that has really benefited. And even the guys that aren't beat up, they're just worn down physically and mentally. That's helped them rejuvenate. So it's been positive.
There's Kyle Whittingham. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are coming up next.